you have the mastery of like a 17th century master, and yet you're doing all of these incredibly, really fun and very meta pieces.
Well, I'm in charge. As the artist, I'm in control of this narrative. Like, I can make what I want happen by virtue of visuals. I'm gonna make a painting. It's gonna be 3 Jews walk into a bar. They're actually at the museum looking at the painting the same way that I was with the Courbet. The girl stood in front of me. This is why I like the idea of a painting in a painting. I thought, holy crap, I'm onto something here.
Today's guest paints like a 17th century old master who got dropped into a Ramones concert with obsessive, hyper-real technique and a very unserious sense of humor. For years, he was the art world's self-described Rodney Dangerfield. Please enjoy my conversation with artist Marc Dennis. Marc, you didn't hear the introduction that I gave you, but I gotta tell you, it was maybe the most fun one I have done in a really long time. Please, let's start with the forest fire and go from there.
Well, thank you for the introduction, even though I haven't heard it yet. I'm sure it's...
It's glowing.
Glowing, yeah. Okay, so, forest fire. Where the hell? I was in 2nd grade.
7 years old.
Living in Sharon. Well, how do you know you didn't flunk? I could have been 8. You know, see, you jumped right in there. Okay, I was 7.
I know
Think
you
about
were,
this for a minute. A
I have
7-year-old.
a very good research team, and they called that out.
For Hanukkah, the previous... I never know. The problem with the Jews is that we have Hanukkah. It's different every year. So I'm going to digress a little bit and talk about this.
Sure.
When I was young, I wanted to start a revolt and say we should have Hanukkah on one day every year so that we would never forget when it's happening, so we could plan, you know, even as little kids. But anyway, so I had received a magnifying glass for the Hanukkah, and I believe it was December. Although, you know, sometimes Hanukkah's late November or something.
Right.
Okay, so I got a magnifying glass for Hanukkah. And, you know, come summertime or late summer, it was time to use it because the sun, I don't think people are aware of this, but the sun, you know, I'm not sure if it's the exact revolution or what's happening, but the position of the sun at a certain time of day is, just speaking of glowing, it just lights up the woods. And I was one of those kids who went into the woods all the time as a regular thing. I just loved going through the woods, turning over rocks, looking at things, breaking branches, you know. So this is like maybe now, I would say late September. And I'm on my usual path, and I'm in the woods with this guy. Can I say his name? I don't even know if he's dead. I mean, well, his first name is Randy. He lived down the street. He was kind of he wasn't as daring as I was, but he kind of went along, and he was a nice companion because he would kind of like, if he didn't do as I said, he would do as I do, and he would join me. So, and I was a very curious, restless kid out of 5 boys. So I'm in the woods, and I have my magnifying glass, and I'm thinking, you know, if I position this magnifying glass just right with the sun's rays, I could burn a hole in a leaf. It's time I try this, you know? Is this camera on? So it's time I try it. And I waited. And, you know, the sun lines up. I mean, I felt like, you know, like, I felt both like Superman and Lex Luthor all at once. And the ray of light just hits that magnifying glass, you know, like I could hear angels singing. And all of a sudden, the leaf starts morphing into this little hole, this little pinhole of darkness. And then all of a sudden it spread, and then the leaf went, whoosh, and it was gone. I'm thinking, fuck, that is wicked cool. I wonder what 2 leaves would do. Maybe even 3. I don't have time to count them. I'm going to put a big pile. Why waste time? Let's see what's going on here. Sure enough, the leaves caught fire and it spread. You know that term, it spreads like wildfire? Dude, I know. I was there. And I shit a turtle when this part of the forest that I was standing in with my buddy Randy just went up. The trees caught. And I realized, you know, it was the time of year. I mean, it was clearly the leaves were all dry and everything was changing color very slow. And I don't know, I got really scared and I started to run because I had to get past the fire to get on the trail to get out, but it was on fire. And I'm thinking, I can't go deeper into the woods. I got to get back to the house. And I'm like maybe 100 yards in, so which is far enough where you couldn't see the house, but I knew what direction. So I had to kind of like run through the leaves. Randy's screaming, we're going to die. Shut up, follow me, So I made it like some weird circuitous pathway back out to the edge of my lawn and ran into the house. Just as I opened that door, I could see my mom in the window. Remember, 5 boys, she's probably doing something in the sink. I don't know what, cleaning a chicken or something. But she looked out at me and just dropped whatever she had and then saw me come in the side door. Randy ran home. And and I turned around because I saw her face and she was like, just freaking out at something. And I turned around thinking the fire was probably going to go out on its own. But the freaking woods were all lit. I mean, it's like... I don't know, like how people always say, oh, it's like a movie. But this was absolutely like a movie. And I didn't know what to do, but I ran in the house and I ran right past her in the kitchen. And I said, call the fire department. And I ran upstairs in my room and hid under my bed. Now, I'm 7 years old. I was a cool little kid. I was curious, but I think I really screwed up. So the fire department came. 4 engines came up on our lawns, drove, you know that sound. You're a New Yorker. So I'm into my bed thinking, oh my God, am I in trouble? Well, maybe they don't know. Maybe they'll just put it out and then not ask any questions. Well, sure enough, man. You ready for this? I'll never forget this. And I always paint about my childhood memories, but I've never really painted about this. I've painted about the experience of knowing that I displaced animals. That I've painted about. But I've never painted about the experience of looking out under my bed and seeing these really sloppy, dirty, muddy, wet boots of the firefighter who my mother let in. And I'm looking out, and he goes, Mark, I'm up here. Your mother told me, this is Sharon, Massachusetts, so they all say Mark. So he said, Mark, your mother sent me upstairs. Please come out from under your bed. And I said, am I in trouble? He goes, yeah, a little bit. And so my dad wasn't home. He was working. My mom evidently stayed in the kitchen. I don't know. Maybe they just all watched. It was must have been a hell of a spectacle. I wish I had watched it, but I was like, a little nervous. So I get out and I sit on the bed with this guy. And he said, just tell me what happened. I explained to him. And then he said, well, I know you feel bad. You should never play with magnifying glasses with dry leaves. You should never really go into the woods with matches. This is really bad. And my mother told me, and this is where it killed me, that you love animals. Yeah, right? Yeah. So he said, and I just want to let you know that I'm sure some animals died and have been displaced from their homes. Yeah, right? What? But it hit hard. And I never forgot that. So I've never lit a forest fire since.
Well, that's good.
But I did learn to smoke when I went to University of Texas at Austin. I learned how to, cook like true barbecue.
Yeah.
And it always brings back childhood memories of the forest fire.
Yeah.
But I deal with it.
Are you afraid of fire now?
No.
Not at all?
No, I have a fire pit in my yard. I light it up almost every day. We have blankets. We sit around the fire.
Were you always fascinated by fire?
Well, I think we all are.
Yeah.
I mean, humans evolved by virtue of harnessing fire.
Prefrontal cortex.
Yeah. See, now you're over my head. Of understanding what they could do with fire. Think about this. If you were, all right, I mean, I don't know how many species of different hominids there are. I'm assuming 40. I don't know, like Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, Denisovan. So they lived in caves mostly because they had to have shelter. Well, what kept animals from entering the front of that cave? They had to have, sentries.
Yeah.
They had to have people who didn't get sleep, who watched, some kind of weird bear or whatever, some big snake from getting in and, taking a baby. But when they had fire, they could build. Think about how incredible fire was for early hominids. Right. Yeah. Okay. I shouldn't say early hominids because it was sort of harnessed during the time of Neanderthals. But after that, they realized, oh my God, I can cook. Right? So I love fire.
Fire is really interesting because, you see all the debates right now today about this technology or that technology or all of that kind of stuff. We should ban it. No, we should do it really fast. And the fact is, all technology, and fire is a fucking technology.
Wait, ban what? What are you talking about?
Well, like the current debates going on about AI, about all of that kind of stuff, right? And one of the things that I think about all of our innovations, like right now, if we didn't invent fire, well, we wouldn't be sitting here. Because the point about fire is when you cook your food, guess what happens? Brain development. Prior to cooking food, the prefrontal cortex, which is the executive function of the brain, wasn't there. Literally was not there. And so the ability for us to cook our food is what created, Homo sapiens sapien. I love the way the scientists
keep going, man. I like it. Yeah, I love this. This is what I listen to mostly on podcasts when I'm painting.
And so instead of saying, ooh, this is really dangerous, what do? We create fire departments, fire alarms, fire trucks, firemen who can guilt you when you're 7 and tell you you've just displaced a lot of animals, right? So we always figure out a way to use the technology. But I want to segue to your art because I got to tell you, the person we work with, Ariel Meyerowitz, showed us your art, and
she's great.
So are you. We are right now looking at acquiring some of your stuff. Let's talk a little bit about it because I love your attitude. You've always, or you don't anymore, but you used to call yourself the Rodney Dangerfield of the art world, and which you did. And I love Rodney, number one. I think he's hysterical, and you are also hysterical, like. Putting Hasidic Jews in front of the Manet. Okay, where'd you get the idea? It's a great painting, by the way. Because the other thing for everyone listening and watching, at least to my eye, you have the mastery of like a 17th century master, and yet you're doing all of these incredibly, really fun and very meta pieces. Talk to me about it.
Well, first of all, thank you, but you're too kind. 17th century master. I often thought about having a drink with Caravaggio or hanging out with Vermeer, Rembrandt, and mostly Velázquez, because I could speak Spanish. So I'm into the meta-narrative, even as a kid. I will tell you, this, if I may, it harkens back when I watched Roadrunner, Mimi.
Loved.
Wile E. Coyote. Even back in the day, I didn't know he had a name. Wile, right?
Yep.
W-I-L-E.
Yep.
Period, Coyote, which I don't think anybody, who knows that? I don't know.
I do.
He would paint, this tunnel in the side of the frickin', right? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so I'm not going to go any further because I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. But that to me blew my mind as a kid. And I had talent as a kid. Like I could draw pretty well. I always worked at my sketches. I always drew things. But every time I watched that cartoon, I thought, what is going on here? Like what? Because there was so much art. There was art within art. It was a cartoon within a cartoon.
Yeah.
It was a narrative within a narrative.
Totally.
And that's what got me.
Nested narratives.
Fast forward through art school, I really wanted to learn how to paint like an old master. That was my initial, Chardin was really my initial love for learning how to paint. And Monet, like I really loved Impressionism. But I knew I wanted to get more realistic with each attempt. So I went on from Chardin to looking at Caravaggio and Velázquez and mostly Titian, who I think is the greatest painter that ever lived. I don't think that's even a debate anymore. So fast forward, when I'm making art as a professional, I'm thinking about my childhood. I'm thinking about that tunnel that was painted in the side of the rock where obviously, the Roadrunner would go through it and then the coyote would run to it and he'd slap against and you're thinking, okay, well, I'm in charge. As the artist, I'm in control of this narrative. Like I can make what I want happen by virtue of visuals. And I thought, wow, this is really what art's about. Like not just mimicking, like hanging up a dead bird in my studio, which is what I did almost every day. I painted dead animals, dead birds. I would find them. Even here in the ground in lower Manhattan, I found a woodcock. If anybody doesn't know, there's a certain time of year where the woodcocks fly into the tall buildings in downtown Manhattan and then drop to the street. They're all over the sidewalk. Maybe like 3 a day you could find them early in the morning because then, the people come out and pick them up. But I would hang them up in my studio and I would draw them. But I wanted to really create paintings that had this overall impact. And I thought, how am I going to do this? Boom. 2005, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I had been painting up to that point, but I was teaching, I was a college professor. I wasn't really focused on my art career as a professional. It certainly wasn't my only income and I didn't want it to be, but, I was unsure. 2005, I went to see the Courbet retrospective at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Well, there's a painting by Gustave Courbet, which is of a woman It's called The Origin of the World. It's the lower half of some woman. Now they've released her identity. Back in the day, I didn't know who it was.
I have seen it.
Right, and it's called The Origin of the World. I don't know how to say it. L'origine du monde. You don't have to be French Canadian to know how to pronounce that.
Oui.
But yeah, so I knew it was at the show, but it was in a sort of a private room. If you remember, it was like they had this separate room built just for that because it was apparently too much for some people.
Right.
And there was a little notification said if you want to enter, enter.
At your own risk.
Yeah, or knowing that there's a painting that was once commissioned by some. Yeah.
Oh my!
Well, you're supposed to follow up with that with what's that? Oh, okay, Lions, Tigers,
Lions and Tigers
okay,
and Bears.
my favorite movie. But we won't go there. Okay, so I go into this room, and there's a lot of people in it. It's pretty crowded, and I didn't realize that this painting was commissioned by this Turkish businessman who actually was one of the first people to create these weird, these viewing shows where you see women dancing and stuff. And so I walk in and I'm like waiting my turn to look at it. It's literally 5 feet from me on a wall, and the wall was painted dark, the room was dimly lit. It was really kind of amazing. But it was supposed to be the way it was in the man's house who commissioned the piece. It was supposed to be, it was a red wall, it was dimly lit. And just as it was my turn to stand in front of it, because people were very polite, they would look and they'd move on and they'd realize that there was a person. And just as I stood in front of it, she must have been 19, long brown hair. I know she saw me, but God bless the teenage mindset. She was so excited. She stood right in front of me and blocked. She was my Courbet blocker. She blocked the Courbet. And I thought, wow. Now this is a meta-narrative. I'm looking at a woman who has no head, but yet there's a woman in front of me and all I see is her head. Right. And I'm here to experience what she wants to experience, and yet she was so in her own little world. I'm in my world, but her world is now my world. That's all meta to me. It's all my relationship with that piece. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this is what I'm going to paint about from now on. So I went back to the studio. Well, she did move eventually, and I saw the painting. It's a good painting, but it's not his best. But nevertheless, I went back.
And for listeners and viewers who don't know the subject of the painting, just describe the painting.
Well, it's the lower half of a naked woman who I imagine, and I've read about it, but I'm not very good at remembering a lot about historical information. But it's evidently they found the upper half recently, maybe 7 years ago or something.
I read about it.
They found her identity, and it was, I think, a woman he hung out with. I don't really know, but nevertheless, it's a woman who he had painted the lower half with her legs spread. Mm-hmm. So you see the vagina,
you see the origin
pubic hair
of the world.
You see the origin of the world, which is naturally about birth. And I thought, well, this is really fascinating, and it's really unique, and it's like almost Courbet and Magritte meet in this painting, which is even more.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it plays with this age-old inquiry as to what is our relationship to art, not just as an artist, but as a viewer. Right. So I thought we are all flaneurs, right? I learned that fancy word by reading a book about Manet, and he was a flaneur, like someone who notices details, someone who will recognize the white cuff. You have to admit, I digress, so you have to reel me in here, but I don't care anymore. When I wear a black suit, and I wear an Hugo Boss suit, right, because it's a fuck you to Hitler, because of Hugo Boss being the young...
Biggest rebrand in history.
Yes.
They made all the German uniforms.
So thank you. But when I wear that black suit and I see the little white cuff of the shirt sticking out, there's something that goes through me like, wow, I feel good. There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but only when I see it on myself, and then when I see it maybe on someone else, but where the white cuff sticking out of a black sleeve glistens against like a beautiful silver watch, like that to me gets me. And this is what Manet was. So I like the idea that I was looking at details and trying to give the viewer more details. So I'm in my studio and I'm painting a series of women looking at the Courbet. I did one. I couldn't get through the others. I did one painting of a Courbet. It went to a really great collection on the Upper East Side. He was very happy about it. In fact, he's creating a catalog, Glenn Furman, and it's in the catalog of his collection. And I called it The End of the World because there's a woman's head blocking the vagina. It's my exact experience. The end of the world. And I thought, holy crap, I'm onto something here. Fucking Rodney Dangerfield comes into the playing field. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
of
my
course.
sense of humor,
Yeah.
I could be funny sometimes. My sense of humor came into my high voltage technique, because I work really hard at my technique. And I don't want it to be boring. I don't want it to be just about technique. I want it to be about the situation, about the experience. So it's the end of the world, but it's something I experienced. So it's that with technique. And I thought, wow, I got to push this. I'm going to go with this, right? So what paintings deal with the meta-narrative? Well, there's so many, but then I began to think, wow, what paintings are kind of funny? Or how can I use a painting that could be funny? Like, what is the oldest joke in the world? And I learned it was actually a dog walks into a bar.
Really?
Yeah, look it up. Anybody, look it up. Wikipedia, God bless whoever created Wikipedia, because there's somebody who edits this particular page on this joke that has become my favorite. These are my favorite people. Well, besides my kids. There's, apparently, this goes so far back to like the Assyrian period, where someone had carved on a tablet.
Cuneiform.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Cuneiform. Wow, look at you. I'm done here. Okay. Can I go home now?
No.
How can I follow up on that?
No.
Cuneiform.
You see those guys
Do you know all
standing
my
off
life?
camera?
Oh,
They're armed.
I don't see them. I feel them. Oh, I like that you say they're armed. How do you know? I am too. Okay, so.
We were going for balance. We knew.
Well, okay, we'll talk about this because I strive for balance. This is all I talk about. People are like probably sick of me talking about striving for balance, seek peace. Just okay. So I'm reading this page in cuneiform. Cuneiform. Thank you. You know, all my life I never knew how to pronounce it. Here I am learning. So I'm done. I mean, we could be done now, and I'm good because I learned something. So. Cuneiform, about a dog walking into a bar, because dogs were not allowed in bars or whatever the place might be, a tea house. I don't really know.
Right.
I don't remember what I read, but it's definitely online.
Do you remember the joke?
Dog walks into a bar. It ends right there.
It just ends.
There's nothing even to it. And that's funny in and of itself because dogs are not supposed to walk into bars.
That's right.
But it's apparently, all, carved or etched in cuneiform.
You know how long it took him?
I'm going to say cuneiform all day.
He got too tired to do the punchline.
I don't know, but apparently it was because, okay, you can read it up, you'll see. And then we'll have a beer later. But then I thought, okay, so what is the joke that we all know? And it evolved throughout history, and it became like, I think it was like a rabbi and a minister or a priest or a Buddhist. I don't know. Like, it could be any three things.
Yeah.
Why three? I don't know. I don't question it. It's there. I liked it. Mm-hmm. 3 was enough. Mm-hmm. So I thought, what's going to happen here? Wow. And then I began to think about the nature of identity politics. How do you know a Jew made a painting? You really don't. Right. Because all my life I heard one thing. All fucking from Sharon, Newtonville, fucking Danvers, everybody's like, you don't look Jewish. And I'm thinking, what is this? The protocols of the Elders of Zion in 7th grade? Like, how do you know what a Jew looks like? What do you think, we all have payas and black hats? And I'm thinking, I didn't know I was a Jew. I was born a Jew. I'm a Jew. I don't know what a Jew looks. I mean, there's a lot of Jews. I don't know how they look. I don't know but I thought, wow, I got to really go with the stereotype here. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to make a painting. Forget the priest. Forget the minister. Forget the Buddhist. Forget the person who carves cuneiforms. It's going to be 3 Jews walk into a bar. I'm not going to call it a Jew and a Jew and a Jew. 3 Jews. Get right to the punch. And they're walking into a bar. What's the most famous bar painting in the history of the world? Mm-hmm. Easily, I can't say it is French. La Folies Bergerie?
Oui.
Oh my God, see, I saw Moulin Rouge 14 times with my daughter, and now I know how to speak French. So that painting by Manet, Edouard Manet, greatest bar painting in the history of the world.
Really
and it's
is.
so bizarre
I actually agree.
that we don't know if it's a mirror. Now I know it's not a mirror, but I always thought it was a mirror, and that she was looking out at us, and we were projecting ourselves, and she was looking at the guy behind her with the top hat, which oddly enough matches the fedoras of the Chassids, the Satmar, Bobov, Breslov, whatever faction they're from, whatever sect they're from. There's many. We won't get into that right now, but I thought, okay, how do I deal with this? Do I have them wear streimels? Do I have them wear the fedoras, the black hats, black coats? Well, I did a lot of history. I had 27 cousins that died during the war. Most were murdered in Birkenau, which is Auschwitz too, and then 7 froze to death as partisan fighters in the woods in and around Poland. And I thought, Well, there's that, the heroic element of my ancestry. And then there's the fact that I'm a secular Jew, observant nevertheless, but my dad was raised in a yeshiva in Cuba, in Havana. My Bobby and Zadie came from a shtetl outside Kiev called Drobovich. They were pretty orthodox. My mother's side of the family, like Jewish Southies of Boston, it's like Whitey Bulger would not have messed with them. My mother was tough, grew up in Roxbury, man. Go visit. And she was secular. Met my dad when he escaped Cuba from Castro, came to Nantasket Beach, met my mom. They hit it off. They got married in 3 months. God bless them. That will not happen today. So I thought I have to put together all these elements of my ancestral heritage, being a Jew, being funny, because I am funny, but the Jews after the Holocaust turned to humor. And if no one knows that, they know it now because it is absolute history. And that's the reason why the Catskills became what the Catskills were. Right. And the place called the Nevele. There's so many, and this is where they all, came out of. And so they all began to emigrate and they all began to make things funny because humor is what we could turn to. All right. I think today, it wasn't a Jew that said it. Somebody must have said it. Laughter is the greatest medicine, or laughter is the best medicine. It must go back to someone who carved cuneiform. Maybe it says it in this tablet, Laughter is, fuck the dogs is the best. So I thought I'm going to make a grand painting. I'm going to make a grand entry into identity politics. And I'm going to say, hey, I'm a Jew. I'm here. Check it out. I'm funny. I can paint. I deal with meta-narratives. This is my tunnel painting that the coyote ran into and the roadrunner ran through. So I painted 3 Jews walk into a bar. They're actually at the museum looking at the painting the same way that I was with the Courbet. The girl stood in front of me. And my 3 Jews are wearing Burberry jackets. Yeah. Or some other weird hip-hop coat.
Yes.
Like they're like, yeah, we got some money, we're going to spend it. We got some leather jackets. Like, they're not Bekishes. They're not wearing the Hasidic wear. They're not wearing the Lubavitch or the Satmar clothing. They're wearing Burberry. It's a combination of secular and Haredi outfits, costumes, whatever the case might be. And the hats vary. And, streimels are naturally worn. There's like probably, I don't know, man. I know that my Hasidic studio assistant is going to get upset with me because I'm getting this wrong, but I think there's 10 styles of streimel. Streimel is the fur-lined hat. It's usually, it could be ermine, it could be beaver, it could be fake fur, it could, depending upon who's buying it, how they feel and how they want to deal with it. But, it's not naturally worn on high holidays by married men. Being divorced, I figured, I can't wear it. But then I learned as a Kohen and from a certain sect of my Hasidic background, unmarried men could wear their streimels. So I thought, wow, man, I'm learning so much. So it all became compounded in those series of paintings called 3 Jews Walk Into a Bar. We had a show at A Hug from the Art World, Adam Cohen, and then after that, it was like it was a huge hit. I mean, sales aside, it was like people began to realize, oh my God, now, so, it's like a Jew made this painting of being Jewish, but yet also being funny, which is something we all share. And I wanted them to be surrogates for anyone's experience. But going back to my experience with the Courbet, that could have been anyone.
Yeah.
But why? She stood in front of me. But maybe the other people stood in front of other people, but those other people who had someone stand in front of them were not artists. Maybe they didn't have. Maybe they never watched Roadrunner when they were kids. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm done. That's so exhausting talking about. I did not expect you to talk. I didn't know what the hell we were going to talk about. I didn't know you were going to ask me.
We're going to talk about you and your work. But you also had kind of an odd relationship with the fancy art world here in New York, meaning that and I think it's really the origin of calling yourself the Rodney Dangerfield, which is also meta, right? Because Rodney gets no respect, and yet he is so fucking funny. Johnny Carson loves the guy, has him on the Tonight Show like every other week.
Yeah, him and Don Rickles.
Right? And then that changed. Talk about that. Talk about how the
What, the Tonight Show?
No. When were you on the Tonight
Jay
Show?
Leno and who's doing it now? What's his name?
No idea.
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
He was on
Legacy Media down bad.
So wait, so we're talking about Jewish comedians?
No. I'm talking about you and your work as an artist. And suddenly, like when I'm going through it, I literally smile and or laugh. But you also are an amazing artist, right?
Yeah.
And by that I mean, I love the way you build the humor into a serious piece of art, right?
Okay, so before I forget, it's in my brain, and it's in response to the frontal cortex. This lobe is pounding.
Going back there.
Talk about it, or you're going to forget about it. That's exactly how I live. If I don't get it out, so I'm going to get it out. So pardon me for interrupting, interjecting, whatever. Isn't that a TV show? Pardon the interruption. Okay, sports radio. So I have to say this before I forget. I'm not always funny.
No, I know.
I have a very serious side.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that sounded defensive. Let me try it again. You know, I'm really not that funny. I mean, humor is great. I love to laugh. I'd rather make people laugh than me laugh. I rarely laugh, actually. But I watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I might laugh a little bit. But I really don't laugh out loud. Like people who guffaw, God bless them. I wish I could crack up. I don't crack up, but I do smile, I do laugh, I do chuckle. And I like that in my work because that's who I am. I mean, I'm making the paintings. I mean, my personality is going to come out, but there's a very intense, serious sort of, okay. When I taught college, think about this. You know how we get nicknames in 6th grade, 5th grade? You know, because every kid's got to like call you. Mine was like Mark parks the car in the yard in the dark. What? Who cares? It's not. I don't care. Like there was nothing. But you know, that's all they had.
Yeah.
I'm teaching college.
Lack of creativity.
Well, you know, they're 5th graders. So I'm teaching college, and one of my students says, "You're the Dark Menace."
That's a really good nickname.
Why?
Oh, just because, like, why? You tell me.
My initials are flipped.
Let me change.
No, this is how whack.
You didn't love being called the Dark
I
Menace?
loved it, but I never in my life, like, why didn't kids call me that in 5th grade? All you do is flip it. It's like the splash stone. All you do is flip the initials. Marc Dennis.
Dark Menace.
Why? No kid came up with it. I never thought of it. And all of a sudden, there's this college kid. He's 19. He's doing a drawing of his hand, and he's like, "Yeah, you're the Dark Menace." And I'm like, "What? Why?" Because I wear a lot of black. I wear dark clothes, and I have dark hair, and I'm kind of I don't know if it's moody. I could be slightly abrasive in my teaching methodologies. I'm a little in your face. I'm a little loud, but you know, I mean, I'm teaching.
Wait. Hang on. I want to take you back to that because I find that very interesting. What do you mean abrasive in your teaching method? What's abrasive about it?
I've learned a lot about how patience is a virtue. I didn't have a lot. Let's just say this. I had less patience 20 years ago.
Just like me.
I mean, you know what? When you're playing hockey or you're running for a pass in football, they tell you, the coach always says, don't follow the goddamn ball or puck. Get to where you think the puck's going to wind up.
Exactly.
So when I'm teaching, I'm one step ahead of everyone, including myself. And I didn't like it because my methods would be like, come on, man. Like, listen to me again. I'm going to do this lecture one more time. You know, like I was kind of a coach.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't make them run around the room and do wind sprints because they, you know, are not grasping a visual art lecture. It's not a big deal. But I was a little, so that to me is abrasive. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, you know what? Look, you said cuneiform. I never knew even what that word was back in the day. So I don't know. Maybe abrasive is not the right word. Maybe it's like I was a little impatient.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Impatience, though. I mean, that's something, I find that a lot.
It's a flower.
People,
that's it.
Right. I mean, you know, it's like when you're young and our type of personality, people take you as impatient, and you're really not. What you're just trying to do is get to the next place.
Yeah, I mean, that's up for debate. I mean, it's debatable in a sense that I agree with you. I know who I am. I know that as boastful as this may come across, I am very generous with my time, with my efforts, my energy. I am very loving, and I'm very giving, and I am very patient. But yes, to many, it might come across like they don't see that part of me because it doesn't mean it's always there. It's always present. So if I know that deep down, and clearly now I'm told I have ADHD, so who the hell knows what that even means. But I'm restless as hell. My brain is restless, and I'm always like one step outside of my current thought. So I guess that has to do with the meta-narrative too. This is why I like the idea of a painting in a painting. Like my thoughts are like I have thoughts in thoughts. And I don't even know if that's well explained, but I'm sure there's going to be many psychiatrists calling me up later saying, do you need an appointment with us? We'll give you the first session for free.
It's called a recursive closed loop.
Oh, come on, who the hell are you? What? For real? Wait, what? Okay, I don't want to bore. Well, to me it's not boring, but I don't want to get into it.
Yeah,
but
no, we won't.
That's fascinating to me. Okay, so thank you for that.
But
you've lit a fire.
What? Make sure that we don't have that fireman coming to chat with us afterwards, though. The thing that is meta about it, at least from my perspective, is ties to humor. So I know a lot of super funny people, and I've never yet met a super funny person who wasn't also really smart and very observant. Like literally, they're the first, like you drive up a new car, right? The super funny person, you can always count on them to be the one that notices the tiny scratch in the door and points it out immediately. Beautiful car. Shame about that scratch.
Yeah, I think people who are professional comedians, they definitely lack a filter.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that flow would not be natural, and it wouldn't happen because the funniest people, at least in my estimation, and I definitely have a list of who I think is the funniest comedians, who I laugh at their humor. They're talking about real situations, things that we've experienced, things that have maybe slid back and forth between the anxiety spectrum and the comfortable spectrum. There's a thin line. You kind of cross that line. You kind of blur the boundaries. It's really important to make sure that humor is used in a certain way so that it does come across.
Yeah.
And in art, it's really challenging.
Yep.
So, like I said earlier, a lot of my art is not funny. And I'm working on a whole new series now called Love Letters, about love and love lost, because this is pretty much what I paint about. I paint about the celebration of life, but within life, there's this incredible carnival ongoing constantly that deals with love and loss. And the new ones are kind of serious, but they're also beautiful and robust, and everything has deeper meaning, but they're not necessarily punchline funny like Three Jews.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about humor, though, right? Like humor is the steam valve, as far as I'm concerned. In other words, it lets people say things that everybody's fucking thinking anyway, but say them in a funny way. Billy Wilder said that if you're going to tell people the truth, you better be funny or otherwise they'll fucking kill you.
Wow, that's pretty abrasive.
It is, but there's a lot of truth to it, right?
I agree with you on this. I think, again, everything is debatable. But, there's schools of thought. I mean, right? There's certain groups of people that think alike. That there's like-minded people, and then there are people who totally disagree with us on this.
Sure.
And I guess that's how, I've always told my kids, surround yourself with like-minded people, and, who you can inspire, they can inspire you, motivate each other, and that's life. Like, that's why we're pretty much tribal deep down. Mm-hmm. We all are.
For the most part, yeah, I agree. I think, they've done studies where they literally take a group of people, randomly put them into tribe A or tribe B, and then, overnight, everyone they never knew each other, but everyone in tribe A is the best. Everyone in tribe B is the best. I think a lot of this, if you want to foment a lot of emotional energy that gets you nowhere, just lean into tribalism, right? That's a horizontal fight. Let's have boomer against zoomer. Let's have pro whatever, nuclear energy, anti-nuclear energy. There's always going to be two tribes going against each other.
Again, my brain's
yeah.
Back to balance. We talked about this. Maybe we talked about it before we got on. air. Is it called on air?
No, yeah, on air.
It's funny because everything's air. I mean, we're all on air. We're walking on air, walking on sunshine. We talked about balance. I seek balance. Yeah, I think we did talk about it. Seek balance, seek peace. My grandmother, my Nana, Charlotte, my mother's mother, said to me, she always wanted us out of the house. By the way, I always thought she liked apple juice, but then I learned later in life she was drinking whiskey when we visited her in the afternoons in Randolph, Mass. Randolph, her house was like a bright salmon pink or orange, whatever the color is. And she would say, go out and play, like go in the yard. And
in the yard.
One day, I wanted to bring stuff into the house to clean in her sink. Like rocks, to find them. She's like, no. And she got a little upset with me, and then she realized, because my mother's like, Ma, don't get mad at my kid, he's just curious, And I remember my grandma walked over to me later and she says, Marc, everything in moderation. Just go through life, everything in moderation. I'm freaking fourth grade. I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea. Now I get it. And I'm telling you, that is the best advice. One of the little snippets of advice that I've received in my life that I still to this day think about. So I believe that we can work together if we understand that we have to accept one another's ideas, constructs, as long as there's no hate and divisiveness within those ideas. Right. We should be able to, God, I'm going to sound so like I'm at a Dead concert, like we can get along. Yeah. And I like the Dead, but you know what I mean? The concerts, people are kind of weird.
So how does that transfer over to your art?
I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore.
You were on balance.
I'm out there.
You're on balance.
I'm out there. I just lost my balance. I tipped over.
I'm rebalancing.
Okay, now what was your question?
The question was, we were talking about balance.
Okay, right? Composition. So let me say this. So as a former college professor, and I still mentor people, and if they want to talk about composition, I'm all about it. But I really do think that good painting starts with good design. I really believe, and I don't know if it's necessarily obvious, but I think a well-balanced painting, and again, my balance is my lane. Like I know how to drive in my lane. Where like someone like Franz Klein, who I loved in art school, loved looking at his work, or de Kooning, who I think is one of the greatest painters that ever lived, even though he's not as, Soutine. It's Titian than Soutine, but yeah, go figure. But, they would look at balance differently. But to me, I take so much time to figure out my composition once I have the idea, and then I want to, I think about my intentions, and then I come up with an idea. So it's always intentions first, and then my idea. And then I think about, how am I going to construct this idea? How am I going to make it visually appealing? It always starts with balance.
And intentions. Talk to me a bit about that.
Well, like I said earlier, how do you know a Jew made a painting when it's not easy? Like if there was a show on self-portraiture and everybody, was painting themselves and you could identify with that person, I thought, how would I do it? I mean, how do you do it? You have to work in some stereotypical sense because there might be, look, it was a problem that I wanted to challenge because it's something that I just had to tackle because I had never tackled it before. I'd always done my self-portrait through art school. Everybody had assignments. We had like 20 self-portraits. Paint yourself this week. See you on Monday. That was like a Tuesday assignment you had all weekend, and you come in the next day and everybody would hang their work up, but we all knew each other. But if I would go to an exhibition in a museum and I would see self-portraits, I didn't know who was what or who stood for what or what they were unless you had to read the placard. And I thought, I don't want to read placards. I don't want to understand why Murillo, and the Met maybe painted someone. And if they were in a certain costume, you could identify with maybe their culture, but you never could identify much more with their race unless you could see it on the skin tone and I became challenged by that. But being a white guy, I thought, how do I paint myself as a Jew? So that's when I went all in on the stereotype, where I thought I'm going to paint the Jew. So people say, oh, that's a Jew. Like, that's not Marc, that's a Jew first. And I thought I'd have some fun with it. And that's how it all started. So that was the impetus.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I answered your question. I don't remember the question.
Well, I'm interested in portraits in general, especially self-portraits, right? Because I do think that, like Raphael's Portrait of a Young Man. Still missing, looted by the Nazis, ace of spades on the Monuments Men deck of cards to try to find it. If you really look at that portrait, I think I see why the Nazis wanted that so badly, because what I see is a very self-confident Raphael staring out, and you got to put it in context, right?
Always.
Back then, everything was you as an individual are nothing. God, through the intermediaries of priests and rabbis and everyone else, is going to tell you, you got to deal with the intermediary, right? But when you look at pictures, unfortunately, because it's still missing, when you look at the Portrait of a Young Man by Raphael, what I see is like humanism looking back at me. I see a guy saying, you know what? No, you don't need your kings. You don't need your generals. We humans can do a lot of shit and get it really done, right? And then Dürer, the famous German of the Renaissance, he painted himself in the Salvator Mundi, the Christ pose. Sure. Never left his gallery because he was terrified of getting like drawn and quartered, hung, all of that. But like the difference between those two portraits is striking to me.
And think about it, they were very young at the time.
Very, very young.
So these are young, brash men full of chutzpah.
Yep.
Sexuality aside, they were young men.
Yep.
And they were battling for positioning. Mm-hmm. And so to paint oneself as a Christ figure.
That takes balls.
Right, it takes chutzpah. Yeah. We Yids prefer chutzpah, but I'm going to go with. And then Raphael, of course, naturally, you said God, priest. And then there was Michelangelo.
Right.
Who were, from what I understand, I don't know if it was Vasari, however I read these notes, Raphael would sneak into the Sistine Chapel, and he would look up and he would make notes of his own, sketches of his own, and present them first in the School of Athens, speaking of humanism. And he would present these figures before the public knew that Michelangelo had actually created them. I mean, that's balls.
Yeah.
And everybody knew it back then. And then he died young, unfortunately. But
very young.
Yeah.
He was also an orphan. Yeah, he was also an orphan.
I mean, I don't know. We all have stories. We all have obstacles. We all have challenges.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So orphan aside, whatever, I can't comment on that.
Michelangelo, in the Sistine Chapel, don't you love how he put all of his enemies in hell?
I thought we were talking about the Ninja Turtles. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
My kids love
Can
those
you name them?
Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, and who am I missing?
Mona Lisa.
Yeah. Da Vinci.
Leonardo.
Leonardo. Right. I haven't seen that.
I have a great story about that,
time.
but we're not going to have time for this today.
We got a lot of time.
We'll do part 2 from hell later. But
did you like that work, by the way? Life in Hell. What's the artist? He's a cartoonist.
I don't know what we're talking about.
He went on, Matt Groening. He went on to do The Simpsons.
Yeah, of course. What did he do? Life in Hell? I don't know.
His original work is hysterical, and it's really,
with the little rabbit-headed?
Yes,
yeah. So I never read it. I never looked at it.
Read it.
But I do know the figure.
Read it.
Because
it's funny as hell.
Can I go now?
No. But I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, I understand. That's how he started. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Talk about meta.
Okay.
Like,
what's the word, like when you hear the word pang?
Pang?
Like the first pangs of love. Is that a word? Pangs?
Yeah.
So I'm asking you for validation.
I'm your...
So I'm 9 years old.
Yeah.
At the time we were living in Sharon, because then we had moved to Puerto Rico for 4 years. Another story. Yeah, we went from like icy ponds, skating, to catching lizards and palm trees and mangoes. So The Wizard of Oz comes on. It's around Thanksgiving time. If I remember correctly, it's always on during Thanksgiving time.
Holidays, yeah.
I remember I might have been like a week before, and it's on TV, and my mother says, let's all watch it. 5 boys.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Wizard of Oz. I mean, I never heard, I didn't know what the hell was going on. Nowadays, shit comes up and pops up on your phone. Like you could know like a movie from like, you could know the movie M with Peter Lorre on your phone by watching TikTok, and you'll know of it. But great movie. By the way. Yeah. But The Wizard of Oz, I didn't know about. My mother said you'll like it. It's part black and white, part color. You know, it's fantasy. And I'm like, okay, whatever, turn it on. So we're watching it, and everything's good, you know. The gingham dress is cute. The bows in her hair are cute. Dorothy, you know, it's all in black and white. They're in Kansas, you know, like. So it was just okay. It was interesting. And then she starts singing. I'm 9 years old. I really don't know what happened. I fell in love. The first pangs of true adoration or love for a girl.
Yeah.
Just
Overwhelmed.
washed over my soul.
Yeah.
Which I don't really have, but nonetheless, I felt like, wow. And I remember distinctly, my brothers were so bored. They were so ready to leave the room anyway. I could sense that, you know, like I wasn't the jerky kid. Like I love my family, but and I said, you really want to watch this? My dad couldn't wait to get out of the room. I mean, he wasn't into it. And my mother probably had shit to do, and you know, my brothers were younger, and except for one older one, she probably had to put him to bed like in a half an hour. And she goes, why? I said, well, can I watch this by myself? She's still singing while I'm asking her, and I'm like falling in love with Dorothy.
Yeah.
True story. And they left the room.
They did really.
And I watched The Wizard of Oz alone, like this, you know, legs up, knees bent, on my tummy, like so Norman Rockwell, so like, and after that it became like the movie, because with every pathway, every turn, and every twist of fate, I really related to it. The heart, the brain, they already have it.
Yep.
They just don't know it.
Exactly.
And the wizard is just you pulling your own strings. There's so many ways of interpreting this.
Oh, totally.
So, and recently, my daughter and I go to Broadway shows once or twice a month. This is what we do.
Okay.
And we had never seen Wicked.
Wicked, yep.
So popular, you know. I mean, we hadn't seen Pirates, and she finally said, let's go see that. Like, we always saw other shows, Gypsy, you know, like Moulin Rouge, like I had mentioned 14 times. But we go to see Wicked, and, you know, Glinda. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
It was awesome, but there's no Dorothy. In fact, Dorothy's like shunned. She's like shit in this show.
Right.
She's like in a freaking basement.
Yeah.
And I don't care. It's not about Dorothy. It's about the nature of Glinda and the Wicked Witch, and the fact that her sister died, and all this weird stuff. Yeah. And the one thing that I didn't know all my life, having watched The Wizard of Oz probably 100 times maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
All my college roommates thought I was gay in school, you know, because I'd be like, dudes, Wizard of Oz is coming on. They're like, what? I had no idea she was an icon for the queer industry.
Didn't you introduce them to the Pink Floyd version of The Wizard of Oz?
What's that?
Oh, come on.
You've
watched The Wizard of Oz 100 times, and you've never put the Pink Floyd album on at the very beginning.
What are you talking about?
It syncs up
perfectly.
perfectly.
Are you joking? You're joking.
I'm not joking.
Okay, we're not going there. Roger White's an asshole, so maybe back then he was... Okay.
We won't go there. But, okay.
Yeah, because that'll ruin it.
Yeah, okay, so keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be right there. I got to go. My ride's here. Okay, so I didn't know that she was an icon for gays, whatever the case might be.
Right.
I remember distinctly sitting there with my daughter in the theater, and Glinda is descending in a bubble. I don't remember this from the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but this is a good example of how my brain works.
I see, okay.
I focus in on things, and I hone in on things, and I harness the energy of those certain things, and I'm so about the details of those things that attract me that I'm not really paying attention to other things, albeit so here I am today painting bubbles. I'm coming full circle about the meta-narrative.
Yeah.
About my childhood experiences.
Yeah.
And I said to my daughter later, I said, wow, Glinda descends in a bubble. That's bizarre. She goes, yeah. And I'm like, but I'm painting bubbles now. And inside those bubbles are memories of our childhood and of memories that I'm building with my kids, like the house we live in now, our backyard in Ithaca. Like those bubbles hold things. Mm-hmm. But I learned that the bubble that she descends on is sort of this magical effervescent floating device that is heavenly. It's about goodness. And I'm telling you, this show gets deeper and deeper every time I think about it. And every time okay, well, that's my point. Like, it's just one of those movies that allows you to dig in your heels, love it for what it is. And then you look it. You know what it's like? I never liked the term. I like onions. I like onion rings. I like them sautéed, fried, whatever. But I don't like the idea of a metaphor as something is like you peel it back like an onion. Like nobody likes doing that.
Right.
It's this crispy paper wrapping that looks gross and it smells and you got to wash your hands all the time. We got to find something else that you can peel. Yeah. But the idea is that this movie is truly the biggest, sweetest onion of all movies.
Totally. The other thing about that movie that is so, again, meta is it's kind of like they're telling you, hey, you're living in a managed reality.
Yeah, bubble.
A bubble. And it complete with the God, in this case, the great and powerful Oz, where they project the big picture, right, of him, and they're all shaking and everything, and then Toto goes and pulls the curtain, and we see the very pedestrian real Oz.
Right, Toto, a dog.
Right, Toto, a dog.
Who people would presume, albeit, human's best friend, nonetheless, it doesn't have a sense of logic like we do, but it did.
Yes.
It does. It sensed something that we were like missing.
Yep, and I'm fascinated by it because we do sort of live in a world where we pay attention to the projection and we pay very little attention to the man behind the curtain.
Okay, well, this has to do with intention.
Yes.
And this, if I may,
please,
because I don't think I ever answered your question about intention. I always start with intent because I have to know what it is, for me personally, is it that I want to reveal, like the curtain, pulling it back. I have to know in my paintings what my intentions are so that I can best communicate to a viewer. The projection in The Wizard of Oz.
And how many different interpretations, like for people who talk to you?
By the way, I just have to say, I like a lot of movies. I'm not saying that The Wizard of Oz is the greatest movie. It's just it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it's love, it's delight, it's death, it's loss. Again, it's love and loss.
It has, the thing that intrigues me about it is, as you just said, it literally, you can just keep going layer by layer through that movie. And it really is it's almost philosophical if you really love that movie and watch it enough. Like each time I watch that movie, I see something else.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's like the onion. But someone said to me one time, Mark, she's having a dream. It's a dream. I'm like, you could think that if you want.
Yeah. I
never read the L. Frank Baum books. I don't know how many there are, but I have not. So I don't really know what his true intentions were and how best it was personified in the movie. But nevertheless, I'm visual. And when I read, I fall asleep. So I can't read the books, and I'm not going to read the books because I'm happy with the results of how I feel from the movie. But I don't believe it was just a dream. Like nothing is just something. Nothing is as it appears to be. Right. That's what I truly believe in life.
Yes. And perception, therefore, becomes paramount. Right?
Speaking of Paramount Pictures movies, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they own the rights now to the movie. Did you mean to say that? Are you getting paid to talk about Paramount?
No, I am not.
Now you are.
I mean that people can only see what they expect to see oftentimes. And that perception is that filter, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And a lot of people don't understand that we all have different kind of reality tunnels that we look, or reality goggles that we look at the world through. That's why you can have two people, they could be sitting right here, right? And we could both have glasses on, and my reality glasses would see probably a somewhat similar.
This is happening, with VR.
Yeah. But actually, there was a test done. A guy was teaching a class, and the class was at the end of a long corridor, right? And the first time the students are in the class, he goes, "Hey, did any of you pay attention to to like what was on the walls and stuff and in the hallway on your way down here? And a lot of people were like, yeah, I think I did. And he goes, okay, your first assignment is to draw what you remember seeing in that hallway. And they did. And what he found extraordinary was none of the drawings were similar, right? So some have a lot of posters and a lot of, art pieces on the wall on the left. Some have lockers. Some have different kinds of lighting and everything. And he's just like, all of our perceptions vary. And when you understand that, it makes you a lot more understanding and a lot less binary. But I think that that's kind of also one of the keys to great artists, right? You see the world in a way that regular people don't.
I don't have a comment about that.
No comment.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to say, but I don't know how to sum that up. Maybe I don't share that perspective.
Oh, well, tell me yours.
People who know me really well have heard this many, many times. I never wanted to be an artist.
Yeah.
I don't really think it's a high, what's the term for it? Not profession, but it's I like what I do.
Status, high prestige.
I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Right.
I mean, I work so much. I work a lot, but I don't need a pat in the back. I just do it because I don't have anything else to do. I mean, I like what I do. I think what I do is good. I think I feed.
Like you can't, like.
But I'm not saving lives. I'm not like bringing someone back to life. I'm not feeding people who are hungry. It's just a thing. But, we always have art. I understand the importance in a culture. I just don't think that artists really can never take what's the word? Like the higher seat amongst,
the hierarchy.
Astronauts or neurosurgeons or fighter pilots or pilots.
So
or nurses or doctors or
right.
Like we're entertainers. I don't see how anybody can argue that. What are we doing? We're making things to look at.
Yeah.
Granted, from that point, it goes on to something else. Maybe people who are visually impaired aren't seeing things, but they can still feel art or be talked about it or understand it or listen to music, musicians. Mind you, in my estimation, as miserable and as constipated, or as IBS Beethoven was, from what I'm reading, he had IBS and it wasn't called IBS, but this guy, he was miserable.
Yeah. Also deaf. At the
end.
end.
He turned deaf. Yeah, and Goya went deaf around the same time.
That's right.
There's a lot of deafness because they weren't vaccinated. So this is a higher seat for me. I mean, writing and playing music to me is it's so outside my realm of possibility. I think I could sing okay. I've been singing. I don't take lessons, but I like to sing. My daughter sings really well. Like, the interest that my kids are picking up, the fact that they're so good at certain things, I think, wow, when do you determine what you want to be in life? Like, what happens? Like, how do people do? Like, how does Donald O'Connor dance in Singing in the Rain around that room? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, my friends are here. But, it's like, to me, that's crazy, amazing. And I'm not, at all talented in that realm, but I'm blown away. To me, they're higher. Like, because I've been drawing since I was a kid, I wanted to be, I didn't think being an artist was an actual thing one could do. Like, I didn't think it was a so-called job. You learn all your life that you have to get a job, you have to work, you have to make money, you have to pay rent, you need to buy a house. You move on, you reach certain levels of satisfaction and success. But, I wanted to be a zoologist or a naturalist or a park ranger or an entomologist. Like, I'd be looking at insects all day. I'm good with that, including spiders. But I didn't, because I was not a very good student in school. I mean, I did okay. I flunked art junior year. I mean, I was a mess, I got arrested. I mean, I have a lot of weird stories that kind of detoured me off thinking that I could be something other than an artist. I kind of fell back into it. There was a point where I had to go to court, and I had to explain to the judge that I did have ideas of after graduating. Otherwise, I was going to be sent to a juvenile detention center because of the crimes I committed. And I remember being in court saying, I'm going to be an artist. But I didn't deep down want to be an artist. I just didn't have anything else to talk about. Because apparently, prior to my arrival in court, unbeknownst to me, I had two people who from the school had written letters on my behalf saying, Marc's a good kid, he's super talented, he's even on the yearbook committee. That was embarrassing for me to hear that. Because she read the letters in court. I'm like, yearbook committee, you're not supposed to talk about that. Because that was like the Geek Squad before there was a Geek Squad with, Best Buy. But I was on the yearbook committee because I was asked to be on it because I could draw the cartoons for, like I was the Matt Groening, whatever his name is, of the yearbook. Like I could draw cartoons, caricatures of people, and it was fun. And I did it because I was appreciated for it. But when I got to court, she said, listen, I see here that you're pretty talented. You must be, because if you're on the yearbook committee, I'm like, what? I was this tough, long-haired 15-year-old who was... So I became an artist because I didn't want to let anybody down because I was appreciated for it. And I thought, okay, I'll go to art school.
So let's talk about that, right? Why did you find yourself in court?
This just became a therapy session.
No, it's not. Why did you find yourself in court? I've been arrested when I was a teenager, just so, don't feel bad about it.
Oh, I really don't feel bad about it. I just don't know if it was grand larceny.
Okay.
I had broken into people's homes.
Okay.
And cars.
And what was driving that? Curiosity?
See, we are in therapy. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Restlessness.
Yeah.
Challenge.
Yeah.
I was good at it.
Yeah.
I knew bikers in the area that would buy everything off of me. And
you were an entrepreneur.
I was. And I was like Robin Hood. And they gave me lists, except I didn't wear my underpants on the outside of my pants, whatever that, right? That's a joke about that, yeah. Robin Hood. Okay, so tights, men in tights, whatever that is.
Men in tights, that's right.
Okay, so I wear track pants now most days, but I don't. So one day I got a list from some people who said, I want like a, like a Makita chainsaw or a freaking, like they gave me a list of shopping lists.
Yeah.
Of things to steal.
Okay.
And I did it. I satisfied that. I got paid. Mm-hmm. I wasn't just paid for that. I was paid for my drawings. A lot of kids in high school wanted me to draw like their girlfriends or their mom or their dad or their dog, a lot of dogs, for gifts. And so I made money. I was an entrepreneur in a lot of ways, but I didn't, being an artist, to me, it felt like it wasn't fulfilling. Like it didn't make sense unless it was comic book.
Okay.
Because I loved comic books.
Okay.
A superhero, see this? Full circle, baby.
Yeah.
The superhero was something that really interested me. Mm. The idea that you could battle evil, whatever that might be.
Right.
Evil could be sadness. Evil could be Lex Luthor, as we had initially talked about. At least I think I mentioned Lex Luthor. You did. In conjunction with Superman, the idea that we have polarities and dualities within us. Like we both have this sense of being, which is why the name Dark Menace really blew my mind, because it really fits.
Yeah.
So, and that's my Instagram handle, @DarkMenace, because now I use it. Do we call it a handle on Instagram?
Yeah, I think they do.
Profile name? Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
Well, we were also talking about the fact that you were
all written and created by Jews post-Holocaust.
Yes. Okay, let's put you back in court. And you've got the letters of recommendation. Did you obviously loved art because you were making money doing.
Well, I loved comics and I loved cartoons.
Who's your favorite comic?
What do you mean? Who's my favorite comic? Like stand-up comic?
Yeah.
You mean like? Wait, I'm confused now because I'm talking comic books.
So
Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, John Buscema. Dick Ayers. I love, Kane. Jack Kirby to me is like the Beethoven of comic book art.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's debatable anymore. Who wouldn't? He's the guy.
Yeah.
Joe Courbet. If you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But, he did Sergeant Rock, which was one of my favorites. But I loved Batman. And he wasn't, a superhero in the sense that we know superheroes. Technically speaking, he was vengeful, but he was also yearning for love all his life. Yep. Never found it. I found great identity in his personality. I wasn't vengeful. I wasn't searching for love. I did okay. I just wasn't I guess understood the darkness. I understood that this existed in us. I was a brooding. I mean, I think we all do. Maybe I don't know what the hell. I don't know anything. But I know that in myself, I would find myself in my room, and I felt like I was
brooding.
Yeah, and I didn't even know what that word meant.
Pondering.
But I was pondering on everything.
Yeah.
My thoughts came at me very fast.
Yeah.
I would always feel anxiety about certain things, and always thought I need to find a solution to this.
And you're a journaler, though, too, right?
Well, I used to write a lot. I don't write so much anymore.
Really?
Well,
why?
Okay, all right, well, I don't even know the origin of the cat's out of the bag. I think it was because the sailors brought the cats on the boat to kill the rats. And then when the cat was out, they realized, oh, there's rats on board? Like, I don't know I don't know the origin. I got to look it up later. Wikipedia. But the cat's out of the bag. So I am writing a memoir.
Ah, okay. How's it going? You do know that I have a publishing company, right?
I don't know anything about it. I don't even know who you are. I mean, what? I told you I came into this blindly. I didn't even know we were going to talk more than like 20 minutes. I thought there was going to be some food at least, but I mean, a fucking donut. I mean, when you're learning from Boston, you should have Dunkin' out, but okay. But you give me a bottle of water, but the cup is nice though. It's like a lizard, which I found interesting. You put that down, it was like an alligator. Like, that's really nice. Okay. But anyway, that's funny because I got off, I was in Penn Station, and I never buy food in Penn Station. Like what do you call it? The new hall, Moynihan Hall. Yep. The food court's really nice, actually. And I was hungry, so I don't need food, is what I'm saying. But I bought a ham and cheese croissant at this Martha Stewart place. Mm-hmm. And I waited like 20 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell happened to my order? Okay, 10 minutes. People are coming from behind and getting their crap. Same things. Yeah. Egg and cheese croissant sandwich. Yeah. With ham. They're like, oh, what's your order? I'm like, what, are you kidding me? You forgot my order? She goes, oh my God, we forgot your order. No, sorry, nothing. Right. And I'm like, well, now what? I have to wait another 10 minutes? They go, well, we'll speed it up. I'm like, what is going on here? It's $16 at this freaking place. They gave it to me. It was freaking, bottom was frozen. I took a bite. I'm like, okay, no good. I sent it back. And I said, dude, I just cut the line. I didn't care. I was angry. But I kept it together. Mm-hmm. And I said, this croissant is frozen on the bottom. Losing my ticket, there's no excuse for that. You just should have refunded me and given me a croissant anyway. Done something, because you don't know who I am. And then what went through my head was, oh my God, it's time to write my first Yelp review. Because I have to play a role in the system. I have to let people know. Like, rather than brooding about this, and sitting in my dark space, like action. Batman, take action.
Yeah.
So I downloaded the Yelp app while sitting in Moynihan Hall, and I wrote a review of exactly what happened in detail. So I contributed, because I just didn't know how else to fight back. Like, I didn't enjoy that experience. Was a bad situation. My point being is that I don't need donuts right now. So
good.
Right. I don't need anything.
Because we don't have donuts.
But I have, but you don't want me on sugar. But I did have a hearty meal, but it was not a great, it was not what I had anticipated. Yeah, it kind of sucked.
It kind of sucked.
And it shouldn't suck, because I love Martha Stewart, and everybody knows that she, her brand demands proper attention.
Martha herself would be very dismayed.
And I have
to
met
hear
Martha
about your experience.
And I have had lunch with Martha, in fact, in
Really?
Soho, yes. And I went to an Amy Sherrill lecture and sat next to Martha. And, Amy's a friend, and Martha was in attendance. It was so, point being is that I wrote that in my review. I said, they're trashing Martha's brand. Shame on them.
So, but let's get back to the memoir.
Yeah, let's get back to something.
What?
Anything, damn it. Ground me.
Have you ever heard?
Ground me, Jim.
Have you ever heard of the game Kismet?
Talking to a Jew. No, to answer your question, no. But you know what Kismet means.
Yeah.
I say Kismet probably once a day.
Yeah. So in the version of the game is you have to, you would be perfect at it, because the rules can, anytime it's your turn as a player, you can completely change the rules. And then the next player has to play by it's like improv. It's really fun.
So first of all, you invited me to this podcast.
Yes.
And I accepted.
Yes.
And because of that, we're friends now.
Yes.
So I can say this. I love you, but I'm never going to play that game.
Let's get back to the memoir.
So no more game talk.
No more games at all?
I don't do games. Pictionary, no. If I go to I don't even go to people's homes anymore because they're going to whip out Pictionary when I show up.
I'm not a fan of Pictionary.
Well, when I show up, they bring it out thinking I'm going to be the best at it. And I'm like, stop it. Y'all know what Sharpies are. Use it. You can draw on the toilet. You don't need me. I'm like, no. I'm not going to do things in a minute. You do things in a minute or 30 seconds. Oh, and I don't like those. I don't like people who, you know what? Don't even get me. I'm not going there.
But this
I'm not going to anyone's house or anywhere. I'm not going to show up. A meetup. Remember the meetup? Remember those meetup things?
I do.
That's why, not good.
No. But you came here.
Yeah, because you invited me and Ariel suggested it.
Yeah.
And this is not a game.
No,
Well, not
at all.
Chess I'll play.
Yep.
That I'll play.
Fun game. Do you play Go?
I play with my son a lot. What?
Go.
Dude, no games. But chess to me is like a game. It's not like a board game. It's not like a picture, like charades. If I ever go to someone's house.
Oh, I'm with you there, brother.
Fair warning to all the people out there who know me.
Brother.
Don't invite me to play charades. Yeah. That's where it's like, I'm out.
Me too.
Gotta go now. Call the coroner's office. Not good. There's so many people. What? What's that game on the floor that looks like a Damien Hirst painting?
A Twister.
Yes. Well, no,
that was a Damien.
Well, it does. Sorry,
yeah, it
Damien. Wasn't he the guy in The Omen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
That's a scary movie.
Yeah, very scary.
I can remember some things. Well, no
games.
No.
All right, let's keep going with the memoir then.
Although it's fun to talk about games.
It is.
It's fun to bash games. There should be a game about bashing games.
Yes, I agree. Here you go. You're an entrepreneur. Like, fucking do it.
I'm not going to do it. I am not going to do it.
Let's get back to the memoir.
Time.
Let's get back to the memoir. What struck you to decide you're going to do it?
Okay, we're going to get deep here.
Let's do it.
I'm going to say a few sentences and I'm going to move on.
Good.
Okay?
Sure.
My younger brother passed away thank you. So am I. When he died, I needed to communicate with him. So I began writing him a letter every day. And it was always, "Dear Bruce, this is what's happening. You're not missing much, but maybe you have stories for me one day you'll tell me. Maybe I'll catch up with you one day." The letters led and bled into stories about what I'm doing. And then as they always do, they kind of spiral out of control and they became stories about stories. And they became not so much about addressing Bruce, but about just commenting on life. And then it became memories. And then I began to talk about why I was arrested. And then I wrote about the forest fire that I started. And then I wrote about the first lizard I caught when I moved to Puerto Rico, how fascinated I was about lizards. Like, why hadn't I seen lizards in Massachusetts? Like, what the hell? Like, why are there so many different animals living in different parts? How'd they get there? What is the tuatara? It's a lizard, which is incredible because it has a third eye, which no one knows about because it's under a flap of skin. I mean, I wrote about things that fascinated me. And I just kept going and going and going and tying it somehow into my sense of self.
Very cool. Are you done with it?
Is anyone ever done with a memoir?
Not really.
No. I mean, no one's watching me write it, so I'm just writing it. It's almost like an outlet.
Very cool.
And one day when I'm gone, someo's going to find it. And they're going to say, "Oh, this son of a bitch."
You don't have aspirations to have it actually published so that the public can read it?
So when I taught college, I'm going to answer this question.
Where did you teach?
I taught at Elmira College in Elmira, New York.
Okay.
I taught painting and drawing and Holocaust studies.
Okay.
And then I lectured at Cornell in the Jewish Studies program on Holocaust studies. Mm-hmm. Because, they're like 30 minutes apart.
Yeah, I know.
And we lived, when I was married, we lived in Ithaca. Both kids were born in Ithaca. And my students said to me, "Dude, before we start today's lesson, because, there are 3.5-hour classes, can you tell us a story?" And I had already been in the middle of my memoir because my brother died young. And I said, "Okay, I have a lot of stories. You want me? You go, yeah, you're always telling stories. You're always like going on and on. Like you're that guy that doesn't stop talking during class. You know, can we just hear a story? Yeah. I'm like, well, I'll tell you stories. I won't lecture you on art, but I'll tell you stories as long as you're drawing and working on the assignment, the in-class assignment. Yeah. They would all have like photos out, or they'd have a mirror in front of them doing self-portraits, learning proper proportion, all that weird stuff. And I'd be telling them stories. And then, you know, when I left, I resigned in 2015, you know, to pursue my art career full time and move us back to the city as a family, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. One of the kids said, hey man, we're gonna miss these stories. Put them in a book.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And
why do you think I have a publishing company?
I'll never forget that, because they're really good stories. And I always thought it would be a great title of the book was Stories from My Professor.
I love it.
Now I think it's, I don't know.
So send us a copy of the manuscript. I'm serious.
Okay.
The
Moving on.
Moving on. I love that though, because I'm a huge believer in journaling. I'm a huge believer in writing. I wrote when my son was born. I decided I was going to write letters to my kids, and I started when he was 4 days old, and he's 41 now, or 40. Be 41 next year. And
wait, you wrote? Did he read them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a great title, From 4 to 41.
Yeah, but I have two younger than him, right?
Pay me back.
Each.
Last chapter. You owe me.
We'll slip the bill.
A true daddy book. Yeah.
We'll slip the
There's
bill.
an invoice in there. Dad, what's this little note? It's a love letter. But it's about reality, kid.
But what was great about it is like you learn almost as much about yourself as you're writing these letters.
Like I said, it's cathartic.
Very.
And I did it for that purpose.
Yeah.
My intentions
were
to get in touch because I missed them.
Of course.
And then it became a catharsis. And then I realized, wow, I have a lot more to say than just writing to my brother. Like, it just spiraled. It was a beautiful, natural. You know how people say, oh, you know, life's like a river, or, you know, be the brook, breathe the stream. I don't know what.
Heraclitus.
Yeah.
The same man never steps in the same river, because he
Another
is not
humanist.
the same man, and it is not the same
That
river.
sounds like a disease of your foot, Heraclitus. Oh, you have it too? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this horrible case of Heraclitus.
Climbing up my leg. So, yeah, I'm writing a lot of stories. We'll talk about it later. We'll get a beer later.
I'd
and
love
I can
to
say
see
to you why I like the Irish, you know.
I'd love to see them. Let's get back to the art. And like, was there a moment, right, that you're just like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to do this.
Okay, Jim. That is the best question yet. They've all been great, but you know, we always, in our brains, we're measuring like I don't want to bore people when I'm talking. I think what I have to say is really boring most of the time. I don't know, you know, but that's a good question, because when I was teaching college, I had students who were art majors, and I had some who were bio, pre-med, nurse majors, education majors, who really enjoyed my classes so much that they wanted to become art majors. And I would say, I don't think so. Like, it's not just about, it's not fun. It's not, you know, there's like a inner calling, and if you've got it, then, you know, stick with it, take more classes, but don't kill the concentration you're already in, you know, because that's what you came here for, you know, whatever the case might be. Well, I never forgot. Every graduation, I would have several parents who would come up to me and ask me one question, the same question. What's for lunch? No, they would say, what is the key to success? How is my kid going to succeed as an artist? You know, my kid can inherit a pizza joint. We own a pizza restaurant. He doesn't want it. He wants to be an artist. What is the key to success? Can you please tell us? And I said, there is no key to success, but there is a key to failure. And they're like, what? Because, you know, I don't know. I never heard it before in my life, but I kind of came up with it because there is no key to success. I mean, hard work, whatever. I mean, yeah, sure.
Right.
But, you know, what is success? It's so relative and it's so abstract.
Yeah.
So they said, what's the key to failure? I said, trying to please everyone all the time.
Bingo. So true.
It's so true in every respect. And I said, you got to find yourself. And I think being an artist, I think your kid is yearning to find himself. Maybe it's not about owning a pizza restaurant. Maybe in 10 years he will, but he's in a spot in life where he has one shot at this.
Yep.
He's got to go for it. He can't please you. He can't please himself. He can't please a girlfriend or boyfriend. You gotta learn that in some life you got to take responsibilities for your urges, and you have to, as long as they're good and they're focused and they're well-intentioned, you better damn well fulfill those experiences to know what you don't want as opposed to know what you do want. You have to edit in life. Leave it at that. Comes to me. I'm teaching full-time. I have a pretty good life, fully tenured. We have a nice house, we moved, whatever, lovely family. And I'm in Brooklyn now, 2015, mind you. Now, I had shows, I had sales, but, I wasn't a full-time artist. I was a college professor who made interesting art. Like I had made the Courbet in 2008. I mean, I don't remember the date. 2008, maybe. Yeah, 2008, whatever, 2009. But, I had sold it because I had an exhibition while being a professor at Herschel and Adler Modern. It was my first show in New York City, and we did really well. And I thought, oh my God, is this success because the show sold out? In 70. I was really happy. It was a really good exhibition. I was still working full time. I was still living in Ithaca. I wasn't like living in New York. I had a studio in Dumbo, but I would teach. That was my main concern. My students were my focus. My family first, students second, art third. But the show did well, and I thought, wow, does this mean I'm an artist? I guess I'm an artist. But I'm still a professor, foremost, because that was so rewarding. It was so fulfilling.
So you said you were full tenure.
Right.
Why not do both?
It's a lot of work to teach full time.
I bet.
Students are demanding.
Yeah.
And being that I'm so giving, I gave everything. And I have a lot of energy, probably more than most people. I'm sure there's way more energized people than I am. But
I've met a lot of people. You're up there.
Well, that's like, whew. So I gave and
no, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I take it as a compliment.
The first thing I said to these guys
Is this over?
was,
Are we done here?
No. The first thing I said to these guys was, I'm just going to let them run.
When you point to them, am I supposed to look? Am I like on TV? Because I don't know what's going on. Like I feel bad. Like I'm not supposed to look at them, and I don't want them to think I'm ignoring them. But the camera's here, and then I'm like, if I look over, then the people are watching on TV. Is this on TV?
This will be
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, so we have YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a joke. Okay.
You want to hear a funny? You want to hear a funny piece of advice?
No, not yet. I want to say because I'm going to forget what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But because you're way smarter than me, so you'll maintain shit. Your kids are grown. I'm like a teenager. My brain is like, like pizza, steak. Okay. So in 2015, when my wife at the time and I decided to leave my tenured post and move back to New York City full time, I was going to become a full time artist, and that's when it occurred to me that I am reliant on all my energy, harnessing all my thoughts, all my crazy ideas, allowing my imagination to be nurtured through my images. It was going to be art or bust.
All in.
All in.
I love all in people. No plan B.
There was no plan B.
That's
a great way of putting it. So thank you. So I went all in. I had my studio in Dumbo. I set up, we had a big loft in Williamsburg, it was good, like this, twice maybe the size, and we were very lucky. And I started painting in one end of it so I could wake up in my underwear and paint while the kids were still sleeping, or, I just was I was, what's the word? Immersed.
Yeah, sure.
In making my art, thinking, I have to, now I'm fully on board with the gallery. You only get a show once a year. It's not like I could, what do? I have to get collectors to my studio. I have to do things. You asked me, when was that moment I realized? Yeah. So at the first juncture, it was at Herschel and Adler Modern in 2010 when I had my solo exhibition and we sold out. I thought, wow, I'm good. I'm here. 2010, think about that. Yeah. Not that long ago. Yeah. I mean, I had been painting up to that point, but never really exhibiting. Never in, so 2015, I had been invited to this event called Art Crush in Aspen, Colorado by John and Amy Phelan. And John now is the Secretary of the Navy. And they had invited me since 2009. I remember because my daughter Zayla was born in 2009, and I had been going every summer for like 3 to 4 days. It's a big event, big gala, an auction of silent artworks. There's a live auction. And you meet and greet collectors from around the world, and gallerists, and curators, and writers, and podcasters, and celebrities. They would just come to this event. Part of it was at the Phelan's home in Aspen, a beautiful house, and then part of it was down in some event hall, near the museum and whatever. So I used to go. But while I was there, being the mensch that I am, for all you non-Jews out there who don't know Yiddish, a mensch is someone who is like a schmoozer, like a talking, walking, wind-up Energizer bunny, and that was me.
Good guy, too, is
Very
part of that.
guy who's generous and giving.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you. Central.
Someone who's authentic.
Yes.
And I'm the mensch, and I went from table to table. I rarely sat down, and I would meet and greet people. Who are you? I'm Marc Dennis. Oh, yeah, Amy's told me good things about you, and so between I have to tell you, and I met Beth DeWoody there for the first. I mean, there were so many names I could mention, but it was those experiences at Art Crush that made me realize that these people had my back. And even though I didn't have
back to tribes, right?
Yeah, in
these were your people.
Yeah,
you found them.
Yeah, and in 2000, and they were art collectors, but they were also art appreciators, and they also were loving and generous people. And they bought paintings, and from them it kind of their pathways connected me to newer people. And I was building a nice body of backers, or people who supported me, or patrons, you might say, to use a Renaissance term, since we were talking about Titian and Raphael and whatnot. And then, I still didn't have a gallery. And then finally, I had my show with Adam Cohen at A Hug from the Art World, 3 Jews walk into a bar. And Harper Levine took notice of my work, and I am now represented with Harper's. I am super blessed, and I am also represented with Anat Ebgi in Los Angeles. So I'm pinching myself. My career took off like a rocket, resigning from my being a professor.
Well, that makes total sense to me. I'm a huge believer in being all in, on having no plan B, and that's what sounds to me like what happened to you.
Right, and I didn't have a choice. I didn't know what I wasn't going to go study entomology.
Right.
I mean, I'm all in. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Move over, bitch. I'm here. I got to do what I got to do to make it work. I had a family, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I look back and think, I'm lucky. Wasn't there a movie like that? Rocky Graziano, Paul Newman looks up and says, yeah, ma, somebody up there likes me. What was that?
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm lucky.
Yeah,
He's a boxer.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the movie.
But it's Paul Newman. He looks up and he says, hey, ma.
Somebody up there likes me.
Yeah, like that's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, that's
and I believe in God, and I know that I'm being looked down on. I am lucky.
That's another attribute of people who are really interesting, in my opinion, at least. It's like the sad man lives in a sad world. The madman lives in a mad world. The happy man lives in a happy world. Everything is luck, in my opinion. Oh. No, wait for the punchline. Everything is luck, said the world's most unlucky man.
Oh, because he's miserable.
Because he's miserable.
Well, he can't figure it out.
He can't fucking figure it out.
He doesn't like other people who have made it.
So he blames. Oh, everything's just due to luck. No, it is not. A lot of it is due to your internal monologues, right? And I love it when I hear people say, I am the luckiest person in the world, because guess what? That opens your perspective, and you see things that people who believe they are unlucky can't see. Literally, we're back to perception now, right? If you think that you are the luckiest guy in the world, you're going to be a lot luckier than if you think you're the most cursed person in the world.
Yeah, I never thought, ever, that I was the most cursed or unlucky.
Yeah.
I just figured, shit happens, and I got to find a way to move past it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Because it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
What is darkness without light? Look at us. We're sounding like, we should have like fucking some mass being played over our heads, Yeah, because it's true. I mean, you love, you lose, look, I could talk. I mean, how long is this podcast? Because this is a great subject.
It is.
Because talking about
Go
love
ahead.
and talking about loss are what makes us human.
Yes, I agree.
We are animals. We just happen to be primates, where dogs who pull back curtains on The Wizard are related to us. They're just not primates. We are the highest order of primate. I mean, it's so basic. And somehow we have conjured up in all of our cellular divisions and neurotransmissions a bigger brain, or a brain that actually takes on more than we probably can handle. And when we're in the midst of sadness or love or incredible happiness or orgasmic sensibilities, we feel. And those feelings is what makes us individual. So I pour this into my art.
That's obvious, by the way.
And I don't know, and humor is part of it, but I don't know if whoever is looking at it is picking up what I'm putting down, so to speak. I mean, because we're putting down,
Yeah.
but Pollock could say that.
Yes, he could.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down? No, I'm drunk. I'll never know.
splattering,
I'll never know.
And I'm really drunk.
I'll never know. But the reason why I make art is it's not a cathartic experience for me. I don't need to do it. I do it because I feel like I am entertaining others to find themselves in that work.
I love that. I think, like, literally, if that is like one of your purposes in life, right? You're a teacher. You're not going to, if you try to fashion, I'm very serious, et cetera. There's a great quote about Kurt Vonnegut that John Irving said about him. And it was literally, they were talking about some serious piece of writing. And Vonnegut goes, I don't get those guys. I want people to actually learn something from what I write. And that means I have to entertain them. I love that line because it's so true.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's not always about fun. It's about insight.
Exactly.
It's about informing. It's about sharing. I don't like serious art.
bingo.
Because I'm not that serious.
Right.
And I have a role in life. I know my role. I'm a father first. Mm-hmm. I'm an artist second. Mm-hmm. I'm a teacher. All within that, I am who I am.
Yeah.
So my art affects my father.
Well, yeah, you're back to balance, right?
Yes, it's all exactly. Again, thank you. Da dun dun da da.
Like that. These guys are too young. They probably.
Thanks for coming.
Have you guys ever seen
Jimmy
The
Fallon
Tonight
does it
Show?
now. You know the Tonight Show. I don't know.
Do you guys know that? Do you? Yeah.
Besides those shows, what are they?
They're horrible.
Yeah, they're just not. There's nothing. But we're talking about old Jewish humor, so of course, naturally, Johnny Carson was the one who
Right.
really introduced them to the world. I mean, it was Seinfeld's first appearance with
course.
Johnny. But I mean, you guys. I mean, they can't. They must watch Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm, or the new show called The Bookie by Sebastian Maniscalco.
I don't know that one.
Holy shit, is that funny?
Should I check it out? It's called The Bookie?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's funny. He's a funny guy. Talks about the doorbell ringing. You ever see that episode? No, you don't like him? Nothing's funny to you guys? Who's your favorite
Couple of
comedians?
stiffs.
You have to have
Couple
comedians.
of
Who's your favorite
stiffs over
comedian?
here.
That's my point. There's a lot of. There's a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of.
This is what.
Okay,
Shane
great.
Gillis is funny.
So you watch Tires?
Tires.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, right. No, it is horrible. But why not make fun of shit that's horrible?
Exactly.
That's how you get through life.
Exactly. And, people...
You don't watch them? You don't like them?
You don't like them
He's
at all?
sitting there thinking, fuck all this.
This is what we call...
He's thinking of lunch. He's thinking of takeout. He's like DoorDash.
Yeah. He's already ordered it, for sure.
I used Instacart for the first time in my life last year.
I've never used it.
Now they just keep bringing shit to me.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's very
They
cool.
leave it at different doors. I don't know where the hell the stuff is. Half the
What
time.
we're doing here, by the way, is called breaking the fourth wall. Come on, you love movies.
What, The Matrix?
They break the fourth wall in The Matrix, yeah. But breaking the fourth wall is admitting that you have non-participants in your little production that are off scene, right? And so, like,
which is why I asked, where do I look?
Did you see The Wolf of Wall Street with DiCaprio?
I did see The Wolf of Wall Street.
He breaks the fourth wall all the time in that movie.
So American Psycho is the fourth wall?
Oh, well, he breaks the fourth wall,
I just saw
too.
that for the first time 3 months ago.
Really? What'd you think?
Well, someone had suggested to me, because apparently I don't see a lot of movies that I should be seeing.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah. Amazing movie.
And I have a take on it, like I have a take on Fight Club, that it's clearly, the existence of Lucifer within our own minds. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
Now, granted, someone might say, what are you talking about?
Well, Jung would say it's the shadow, right? We all have a shadow. And if you don't integrate your shadow into your personality, you will. What's Jung's really great quote about that? If you fail to integrate your shadow into your personality, you will look on what happens in your life and call it fate.
Okay, this is what every juvenile delinquent and politician would say. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer.
Exactly. Right? But in the truest sense, your shadow is not your enemy. It's your version of you, right? Like, you want to be seen a certain way. You want others to perceive you a certain way. Sometimes your shadow doesn't give a shit about that. And if you realize that and you integrate your shadow into your personality, that's when life gets fun. And you seem like somebody to me who's integrated his shadow pretty well.
I have no comment. Let's just make it entertaining for the last minute.
Okay, let's do.
Okay,
let's do more than a minute.
If you could get Instacart right now to come here with your favorite meal, put right down in front of you, throw a big white tablecloth across here, your finest silver, a glass of bourbon. I don't know if you drink, but you're Irish, you must drink. So, what meal would you want in front of you?
Right now.
Yes.
Well, it's really, I'm not terribly hungry. So
if you were, oh my God. Everybody loves somebody sometime. What if you were starving? What would you want to eat?
If I was starving, I love the way that Boston accent comes out. Starving.
Just kind of.
Big storm is coming.
Come on, man. What would you want to eat?
I honestly, like, if I was going to get executed,
Mine's
I'd probably go for the all-American.
Executed? I'm not talking about dying. What? This guy, man. You work for this guy? Wait, do you pay these guys?
I do.
Would think you do.
Why else do you think they're sitting there?
Did they study communications in school? Did you wind up doing this because you couldn't play baseball? I don't know what happened.
Well, in both cases, you're very insightful. They both
baseball?
tried out.
Pitchers?
Second
base.
Neither one of them could make it to the show. So they do this instead.
Oh, yeah, front row seats to any show you want.
There you go. Now they're going to be really...
Well, they're going to cost.
Yeah.
I mean, they cost money. I mean, my daughter and I see Broadway shows.
You have a long and illustrious career.
I had opened up by saying, because I noticed I spit on you, I noticed that it's the splash zone. I was told by my daughter that that's a splash zone. We saw Jonathan Groff and Merrily We Roll Along, and when he sings, he projects tons of saliva. Like you're wet in his spit. How do you know?
I've been to a lot of performances and been in pretty good seats.
Yeah, front row center, baby.
Where that happens.
Only a Jew would say that over and over again. Okay, you're really hungry. You're not going to die. Someone says, Jim, this is for you. I love you. Here's your favorite meal.
I don't have a favorite meal.
All right, give me 10. Like, just pick one of your favorites. Okay, ask me the question. I am fucking this up. Ask me a question. Ask me the question.
I think we should just leave all of it, don't you?
Ask me a question. Yeah, leave it all. Leave it all.
Okay.
Forget it. Kissinger's dead.
Mark,
yes.
What is your favorite meal?
Mesquite-smoked duck.
Oh, great choice.
From a restaurant in Houston, Texas, right off Kirby, called Good Company. Although they do not make the mesquite-smoked duck anymore. However, if you bring a freshwater duck to them, they will smoke it for you for a charge. I would love to fly to Texas and just get a duck and then let them smoke it.
Why did
But
they
it's not
stop?
happening.
Why did they
And with
stop?
homemade jalapeno bread.
Nice. Why did they stop? If that was the best, why did they stop doing the mesquite?
I don't know. Maybe I was the only one eating the duck. I would drive down. You went to school at UT Austin. I would drive down from Austin to Houston just to eat the damn duck. Just to eat the duck. Think who does that?
You, apparently.
I did it. That's chapter 14 in my memoir.
There you go.
Who does that, it's called.
I think more people than you might imagine.
Well, they stopped making the duck.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it wasn't selling as much as the ribs or the brisket. The brisket was the number one seller.
In that particular situation, yes. I love ribs. I love barbecue.
Well,
I love all that stuff.
I have smokers in my backyard.
Really?
Yeah, so I smoke.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot, but when I find, like I smoke for Thanksgiving, I smoke 2 turkeys.
And
11-pound turkeys. They're young turkeys.
And reaction of your guests?
8 to 10. Like, because I asked them.
Of course you did.
What do you rate it? 1 to 10. 8 to 10.
Perfect. Perfect scores. All right, Marc. The last question we ask in this podcast is very simple. We're going to wave a wand, and we're going to make you the emperor of the world for just one day. You cannot kill anyone. Just hang on. You can't kill anyone. You can't put anyone in a re-education camp. But what you can do is we're going to hand you a magic microphone right here. And you can say 2 things into that magic microphone that every single human being on the planet is going to wake up the next day, whenever their next day is, and they're going to think to themselves, I've just had 2 of the greatest ideas, and unlike all the other times, I'm actually going to act on both of these ideas today. You get to incept those 2 ideas. What are you going to incept in the world's population?
I would love to just go on about this, how emperors are kind of, they're... They don't just become an emperor overnight. But if you're giving me that title...
I am. You could call yourself a magician if
I
you prefer.
Am I being asked to do something magical, or am I being asked to do something like to advise people on something? I would love to let people know one thing that's really important, which I think a lot of people tend to forget. It's really just fatherly advice, you might say, since I'm a dad. You can't love others until you love yourself.
I love that.
So I would express this to people, and I would make everybody have this in front of them in any way that they need it. But this is something that people just don't seem to grasp.
No, I know.
And it really troubles me, because it may be hard to love oneself, but this is something you should strive for, because you cannot love another.
Completely agree.
Unless you love yourself.
That's a great one.
Okay.
So you're going to get everybody in the world thinking, I got to love myself before I can love others, because I really want to love others. Good one.
And on a magical note, if I could maybe do something that I really think is a problem in the world, because I didn't really talk about it earlier, but it's world hunger has always troubled me. I don't understand. I don't understand why people are starving. Yeah. And, not getting verklempt. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Just before my daughter was born, I thought about it incredibly, like it was always on my mind, world hunger. Because I was never hungry, never went hungry. So if I were emperor with a magical sense, I don't know what the magical microphone can do, but you did say magical. So I'm assuming that this is like I can go in the direction of Wizard of Oz, talking about bringing something full circle.
Yes, you can.
I would make us all work together so that we could provide food for the world, so that it would be there when it needs to be there. And that's totally magical, because it's not going to happen. But that's something I would strive for as an emperor.
I love both of those. So you're a very good emperor. You should hear some of the other ideas.
Well, Marcus Aurelius, I don't know.
Yeah. You a fan?
Marcus Detenko was our Ukrainian name. Am I a fan of
Marcus Aurelius.
Of meditations?
No, Meditations.
Yeah, so I did read Meditations, and I read Suetonius, all 12, if you know.
I do.
You must know, of course.
I do.
Because I lived in Italy to learn painting techniques. But since you said this was the end of the podcast, I'm not going to tell you anymore till we do part 2. Fucker.
Well, we will do part 2, because we might be publishing your book.
I didn't come here for that, Like, I had no idea who you were.
I know.
I mean, you're a legend. I even said that when I walked in.
I actually fucking loved it.
Just a way of saying something nice to you.
Who I was.
What? I had no idea what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
That is great.
I fly to Miami tomorrow morning.
I love it
First
on
flight out.
so many different levels. I love that you just were like, you like Ariel? You're like, okay, I'll do that. I love that. I love that you didn't look me up.
I did not. Is that bad?
I fucking love
I did
it.
not look you up.
No. It's fabulous. I
just
love it.
asked for reminders so that I wouldn't forget when it was.
And you got them.
And I got them. That's all I asked for. That was my only concern because I knew that if you're gonna,
I will share with you.
Yes.
That the reason she's so good at that is you and I are very alike. And she's worked for me for 22 years, and she has to do that with me all the time.
Oh, well,
I rely on her so much, literally, when I sold my company in 21, okay, and started a new company. But
what'd you own, Caribbean Cruise?
no.
Well, because a lot of people were selling them back in the day because the toilet's blocked up. And you get a nice toilet in there. I don't know. I don't know what your deal is. You ever see that thing on Netflix called like the Poop Cruise?
I did, and I think cruises are horrible.
See, that to me, that was a funny show.
It was very.
I would
funny.
never go on a boat.
No.
I could never do. That's why they call it fucking Carnival.
Exactly.
It's like
because you are a clown to get on that boat.
Just like freaks coming out of the woodwork. Todd Browning.
Yeah, and
the remote.
You are locked on a boat with them in the middle of the water.
All it takes is one fucking person to say, you know what? I got fucking tetanus. Oh, really? What's your bunk, bitch? Like, I'm not even vaccinated. You ever have hepatitis B? Sure.
You do now.
It just takes one. Yeah. I'd be sleeping up at the top of the slide over the pool. There's no way. No cruises.
Awful. They're horrible.
It's got to be.
They're horrible.
And yet they're so popular. That's why I said, did you sell your company, Caribbean Cruise? Because to me, that would be one company I would sell in a heartbeat if I owned it.
If I ever owned it,
what
I would
company
sell
did you have?
it in
What
a
did you have?
heartbeat. I had an asset management company.
Oh, so you're like a big deal.
Well,
Like you're like.
only in my own mind. I'm only a legend in my own mind.
That's why you're buying art.
I've been
legend in my own mind. That's a good name for a memoir. I'm nobody.
I'm a legend in my own mind.
That's actually a good movie, Nobody. You see that one?
Nobody's great.
Am I wrong?
Nobody 2 sucks. Have you seen
Oh,
Nobody
no,
2?
don't ruin it for me. What is that? Spoiler alert bullshit. You're like that? You're that guy who does spoiler alerts? That's like someone saying, don't order the shrimp scampi. It's like, what? I wanted it all day. I came here for this. I actually never had shrimp scampi, but I'm using it as
that was done in a very calculated fashion to piss you off.
But I love Better Call Saul. How do you not?
You gotta love Better Call Saul.
Okay, so let's just end it on this, if I may.
Sure.
Not that I'm taking over the podcast, because I wouldn't know how to do it. But, because the conversation today is not what would you want as your favorite meal,
right?
Or your death sentence meal, or your last meal. What is that called? Your last meal?
Yeah.
But everybody's like, give me 3 shows that you want me to recommend, because you wrote down Bookie.
I did.
And this so there are 3. Like, what 3 shows would you suggest or recommend that I watch? And I'll give you my 3. I think that you've not even heard of my 3.
Tell me,
because we all agree we love Breaking Bad and Sopranos.
Totally.
I mean, look at me. How do you not? Don't even fucking tell me you never saw The Sopranos or Ray Donovan or Ozark.
Ray Donovan's great too.
Or Ozark, or there's so many.
Ozark's great.
Okay, so all those aside, The End of the Fucking World is my number 1.
That is a good
Now
show.
the motherfucker has seen it. Now he's talking.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Okay? You never heard of it?
I have. I watched it.
What the? This guy, you're so. Yeah, give me another one, you boring piece of shit. I thought you were writing it down like a doctor. You're like, oh, yeah, exactly. He's yawning. Well, how come you're not on camera? Or are you? Are you on camera?
Of course, right there.
This is a camera?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a camera, but I thought it was like taking.
No. It's a camera.
It's moving pictures.
It's doing the moving picture.
All right.
Moving pictures.
Reservation Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, you mean?
What did I say?
You said
Reservation Dogs.
I don't know that one.
Oh, my God.
I know Reservoir
Sterling
Dogs.
Harjo. It's about a group of teenage Indians who live in a reservation in Oklahoma. It is one of the best things I have ever seen in my life. Reservation Dogs. Naturally, it's based on Quentin Tarantino's Reservation Dogs. Reservoir Dogs. Because Sterling Harjo is a big fan of Quentin Tarantino. But I lived on Pine Ridge Indian Reservation back in the day in South Dakota, Wamblee, South Dakota, in a teepee. I have so many stories. And then Fargo series.
I love Fargo.
The last one with John Hamm.
Yeah.
Who plays the devil. I mean, it's like, what?
It's amazing.
What?
It's amazing.
This is acting.
Yeah.
And the first season is
absolutely
bending.
brilliant.
Where I saw that dude for the first time, and now he's like super famous. I don't know. He's got this
yeah.
weird he's a weird actor.
Great,
He's
but
in this-
also a great movie.
Okay, forget the movie. We're talking TV shows. But
Yeah.
the movie is fantastic. I agree. And No Country for Old Men. Look, they're all good. The Coen brothers are...
Cormac McCarthy.
There's no...
man, like
See, we're
that
going to go
guy.
off.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree.
Because this is what people talk about nowadays. I'm not going to go there. I mentioned The Wizard of Oz, Dr. Strangelove. I mean...
Dr. Strangelove is brilliant.
If you haven't seen it, I can't sit...
I can guarantee you both of those guys have not seen
I get it.
Dr.
It's okay.
Strangelove.
It's okay. Because they have seen other movies that we've not seen.
That's right. Well, I might have seen them. I'm a movie buff.
Uncut Gems.
Oh, great movie.
Adam, Bruins fan. Gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
It's fun.
It's okay.
That's it. We're done here. I'm not a fan, but he's a fun guy. He did Uncut Gems. He's got a new movie coming out. He did the thing about his daughter's bar mitzvah.
Like, that shows...
He lives in Montclair. He bought a house in Montclair.
That shows his chops. He's very, very good.
Right. And, we talked about Fight Club. I mean, there's like...
Fight Club is an amazing
They've seen Fight Club.
movie.
Of course they have. See, they're guys.
It is an amazing...
I don't think they should see Dr. Strangelove. I'm okay with that.
Are you?
Yeah, Citizen Kane, enough already. Like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Like, there's newer classics.
I agree.
No Country for Old Men.
I'm a No Country for
Okay,
Old
look,
Men.
they saw it.
Amazing.
Now they deserve raises.
Yeah. You think so?
But I'm okay with, like Black and White, like East of Eden, to me.
Great movie.
James Dean, his second movie.
Great
or his first
movie.
movie. His first movie.
think it was
No,
his
Rebel Without a Cause, his first movie.
Right.
East of Eden, and then Giant. I've seen them all.
Giant is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, well, they might have seen There's No Blood for Men. What's it called? There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood. Perfect.
Daniel
movie.
Day-Lewis.
Yep.
They've
Daniel
seen Saving
Day-Lewis.
Private Ryan.
Yep, for
If
sure.
you haven't, then I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, they have.
Okay, Forrest Gump. These are new classics.
Have they seen Fury? Have you seen Fury?
Oh my God, I can't believe you're bringing up Fury. So I really appreciate Brad Pitt.
Yeah, me too.
Inglourious Bastards, please say. Okay, fucking, they're done.
Amazing.
If they saw that, they're done. They don't have to see anything.
Here's what I love about
else.
Brad Pitt is the guy.
I loved Fury.
Yeah, Fury was amazing.
My son just saw it, and he talks to me about it all. He goes, Daddy, this is incredible. The
It's
scene
amazing.
under the tank when
It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. And what I love about Brad Pitt is he is that very rare actor who is both a legitimate movie star, but also a really fucking good actor. And I love that he takes the types of projects that he takes. Because,
I'm with you on this. With you on this.
It's just like, are you kidding me? This guy is a bona fide big movie star, and yet he makes Fury. And yet he does it for Tarantino in the Hollywood movie. Tarantino, I love
oh my
Tarantino.
God, that movie.
Amazing.
Once Upon a Time in L.A.
In
Hollywood.
In Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in L.A. is different.
With Julia Butter as the little girl talking to
amazing
DiCaprio, who's also brilliant.
They're both brilliant.
Okay, so we're on the same page.
Oh, totally.
I mean, what's that movie? It's crazy. Dallas Buyers Club.
Oh, amazing.
Because,
with
Hookem.
McConaughey.
He's at all Texas.
Yeah.
And I didn't really watch any movies he was in until I saw that show about True Detective. I would suggest that.
True Detective.
First season only.
You just took my recommendation. I was going to recommend the first season of True Detective.
There you go. We're done here.
Art. We are done.